is what's known as the Baal hadad. Here's an image, the Assyrian-style relief of King Barak from Syria of the 8th century before Christ. Note the solar deity Baal hadad shown as a disk in a crescent. This is very important, and this one I want you to keep in mind. We're going to look at this in future lectures. It's interesting to note that Roman Catholicism has this idea of Mary and child, Mary with Jesus. But yet all pagan religions have got the same idea. In Egypt, Mary and child, or mother and child, were worshipped under the names Isis and Osiris. In China, they had the same thing. In India, they have the same thing. In Catholicism, it's known as Mary and child. Going back to the Baal hadad, this circular disc in the half moon or the crescent moon, here you have an image also from Egypt on the right-hand side, where you've got the all-seeing eye, which we'll get into in some depth, underneath this Baal hadad. When the Roman Catholic Pope or one of the priests holds up the Eucharist and he turns and he looks around and he shows the congregation the Eucharist in a mass, this process is called the process of transubstantiation, where they take the Eucharist, this wafer of bread, and they turn it literally into the body and blood of Jesus Christ. When he holds it up and it's revered, what they then do afterwards is they place it inside a monstrance. Here's an image of a monstrance. It, as you'll see, has got a circular disc with the rays, what seem to be the rays of the sun coming out, and underneath it you have the crescent moon. Another depiction of it is this crescent moon device where you would put the Eucharist inside and on top, fulfilling a perfect example of the Baal hadad from ancient times. The Baal hadad, incidentally, was the sun god that was worshipped, with the moon representing the sea as the sun would dip down behind the horizon and die every night and be reincarnated and be born. The Baal hadad was a fulfillment of sun worship. Today, every time a mass is done or the monstrance is used, and Pope Benedict, as is shown in this depiction here, holds up the sun disk for the world to see. This is the fulfillment of an ancient pagan rite being garbed and covered under the cloak of Christianity. Even Mary is depicted as the woman, the bright light, or the star of heaven inside this disk or this crescent moon. One of the things that you'll come to realize is that Satan also speaks out of both sides of the mouth. He can either be male or female. And this image shows a male saint, or Jesus Christ as it were, standing inside the crescent moon with the sun disk behind his head. Just prior to that, we showed Mary inside the crescent moon with the brightness behind her. Doesn't matter when you're working with occult forces if it's male or female. It's all one entity, because Jesus Christ is represented as a male. God in heaven is represented as a male. And Mark 13 verse 6 says, "For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many." With these various symbols and things that are done in the ceremonies, people fulfill what they don't realize are actually pagan rituals and rites from ancient pagan religions. The question we're asking, is it somehow possible that Satan will put sun worship inside his temple and deceive mankind? Well, just from what you've seen already, you can already draw a conclusion. But just take for a moment this image of the throne of the King of Rome. This is the papacy's chair, the seat of the Pope, inside St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. If that doesn't show sun worship in the temple of God, then I don't know what will. You see, the deception inside the Roman Catholic Church and inside this false system of worship has to do with sun worship. And in order to explain the depth of this deception, we're first going to have to see if we can find a link to Satan. So I'm going to ask, let's pull up the handbrake for a moment on this lecture, on the sun worship portion of the lecture, and let's see if we can find a link to Satan. I can't tell you it's there. They will have to admit that it's there.